Welcome to Karma Lead, a channel that's focused on everything leadership. Today's talk will explore culture and engagement. We've heard a lot about culture in organizations, but what the heck is it? We'll explore what it is, and at the end of the video, we're going to give you a tip that will really help you engage your team. Culture and engagement. What on earth is this all about? We hear culture this and culture that. Why is it important? Well, it turns out that how people feel about their workplace significantly impacts their productivity. Let's consider somebody who's utterly miserable at work, drowning in negativity about their job. Now they receive a call from a customer. How do you think that call's going to go? Not very well, right? Now let's flip the script. Imagine a person that's genuinely thrilled about their job and passionate about their work and generally feeling pretty good. That same customer calls. The interaction's quite different. That's where culture comes in. And it goes hand in hand with values. Now here's the kicker. It costs employers $2,000 per disengaged employee. So culture is not just a buzzword, it actually hits the bottom line and the heart of the organization. Let's delve into the essence of culture. Culture is the thousands, if not millions, of conversations that are held every day at work. Are these conversations generally of a positive nature or a negative nature? Is it a toxic work environment or is it a positive work environment? Ed Schein wrote an amazing book called Organizational Culture and Leadership, where he starts to talk about the definition of culture. And culture is simply the idea of how we work together, not only to survive, but to thrive in today's complex work and global environments. Values in this context serve as a concise representation of the forces that propel action. This is precisely why, as organizations, we develop a set of values. It's to steer and encourage behaviors that ensure not only survival, but prosperity. In essence, we are the architects of our organization's culture, shaping it with our shared values and collective actions. When I started consulting, I met with CEOs and senior leaders, and they shared amazing visions, great missions, and a set of values that were incredible. And I was so worried. I said, oh no, I've picked the wrong profession. There's going to be no work for consultants. But it was fairly shortly that I learned the difference between espoused values and lived values. And what I learned is that most organizations have espoused values. So what do we do about it? Research suggests that there are 6 psychological factors for human beings at work. The first one is elbow room, being empowered to do the job that you were hired to do. Nothing worse than having to jump through so many administrative bureaucratic hoops just to get your job done. People need to be empowered to do the work they were hired to do. Second, learning and growth. This is an important priority for individuals today to continue to be relevant in the workplace. They need to learn on the job, get training, build their skill, build their competencies. The third one is variety at work. In the old days, we used to have assembly lines, and people would work on the assembly lines, and it was mind-numbing. Today, we understand that people need some variety at work, and that builds the enjoyment of their work. The fourth one is mutual support and respect. We want to create conditions where people work together, support each other, and respect each other. We don't want to pit each of our employees against each other. The fifth one is meaningful work. Today, it's super important. People feel the need to contribute more to society. Not just the bottom line, not just making money, but making a real difference in the world. There's a term called the triple bottom line, and that's people, profit, and planet. And the sixth one is desirable future. Put simply, is there a career path that the individual can see themselves working through? Don't believe the experts? Check out this story. First, let's take a look at this cartoon that's on screen. This cartoonist represented the high-tech companies. You know, Google's this network, Amazon is the ever-spreading. Check out Microsoft. Notice what they're yielding? Guns. Yep, there was lots of infighting at Microsoft, and Bill Gates and Ballmer as CEOs encouraged that infighting. And what happened was the stock began to fall, particularly under Ballmer. And the new CEO, Satya Nadella, took over. He stopped all the infighting in the organization. And I really want you to check out this headline. It says, Satya Nadella engineers a $250 billion turnaround based on empathy and collaboration. Yep, you heard right. $250 billion turnaround based on empathy and collaboration. Okay, so here's the tip I promised. One of the biggest ways to engage people in your organization is to connect their work to the purpose. And there's several stories that demonstrate this. The first one that I'll tell you is about a guy that's walking through a construction site, and he sees a guy building a wall, and he says, "Hey, what are you doing?" And the guy says, "Well, come on, I'm building a wall." And then he walks along and he sees a guy painting, and he says, "Well, what are you doing?" "Oh, I'm painting this wall. What do you think I'm doing?" And then he sees an old guy kind of wandering around cleaning up the site, picking up the garbage, and he says, "Hey, what are you doing?" And he looks at him and he says, "I'm building a cathedral." Now there's a man that could see the connection of his job to purpose and connecting it to the workplace. I did some work with a company called Newbridge, founded by Terry Matthews, a billionaire entrepreneur out of Ottawa. And one evening, a junior engineer was at his desk a little late, and Terry walked by and he saw the engineer working. And Terry went in to talk to the engineer, and he says, "Hey, what are you doing?" And the young engineer says, "Well, I'm working on this." And Terry pulled up a chair and sat down, and he said, "You know, let me tell you why what you're working on is so important to this company." And Terry connected the dots for him. Terry left, and that engineer who shared this story with me said, I was there till 3 in the morning working because I was so motivated because the work I did was having meaningful impact for this large organization. Thanks for listening, and our next video will be about how leaders embed culture in their organizations. See you soon.